college team, not everyone wanted to go pro.
I was just about to ask that.
So,
I was literally going to say, was there any of your teammates that did
Yeah, not everyone wanted to go pro. Not everyone did go pro, and you'll find that at every D1 college program, essentially. I'm sure.
See, that's the difference.
That's the difference
between the UK and the US.
Yeah.
Because you see, if you're, we're not going to use the university system. If you're in an academy, you're
doing it to make it to the first team.
That's what you're doing it for. Like you're in it now because you've been doing it your whole life. You're now in it to go ahead. You don't even do the education side because you think you're going to be a professional footballer.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
That's why the level is so high.
On that point, because I was going to come into the education part, was there like, not to sound silly, but how serious did you take education? Like with just because obviously you knew you still wanted to play football. Do you know what I mean?
Ask him his background of parents.
I was gonna say
yeah, but like that's the parents.
But you got to ask him his background of parents.
Because that's one thing that I appreciate about the sporting culture is that you have to get an education there as well. Like you have to somewhat pass. Obviously, I don't know the grading system and stuff like that, but how serious did you take it? Obviously, your parents background, Nigerian.
no choice.
So you got no
choice. But no, I definitely took school very seriously. My dad is an engineer, mom's a nurse. My sister went through an engineering program in high school, which I later on went through, and then my brother went through. And so I started off in college as a mechanical engineer major. Ended up switching to economics and got my degree in economics. So I was always very much school focused at the same time as football. But when I did make the switch from engineering to economics, I had done it because I had a battle in my schedule.
Okay.
And the engineering class I needed to take conflicted with training somehow.
Okay.
Somehow conflicted with training. So after being in this engineering program for like the one in high school for like 4 years, I'm in college now. I'm like, okay, like I'll be able to, take what I learned, keep going. I ended up having to switch to economics, which is fine. Like I was really into economics, and obviously ended up getting my degree there.
How early did you do that switch?
Early.
Okay.
It was like first semester freshman year.
Oh wow.
So
how did your parents take it?
I think they were fine with it.
Okay.
They understood. Yeah.
They were just happy you were in school.
Yeah, exactly. They knew I would never. They knew I would finish.
Yeah, they understood.
I always got good grades, and they know the importance of school. I know the importance. I never really slacked off, ever. But yeah, I had made that switch early, just so I can be able to continue to do football properly and school. And I think senior year was tough because my final year economics classes were hard. I was in like 4 of them at the same time, so I had to properly like dig deep, get it done. Ended up getting a degree there and then still playing. So
that's
nice.
Big. That is
nice.
Big. That is big. Because like I was saying, I always find that mixture very interesting. Whereas like you were saying with the academy boys, there's you'll have education on a Wednesday for a couple hours.
And if you go, you go. If you don't go, you don't go. And it's a coach taking it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it's on the laptop. You're doing a B-Tech and, you're not really doing anything that's going to help you in the future. You get what I mean? You're doing your level 1 coaching badges also. That's the one you do. You have to go bigger and you have to go literally beyond. Like I went and did an A-level just because I
really?
might. Yeah, so I did.
Know that.
Yeah, I went into A-level just because I needed something to fall back on just in case. You get what I mean?
Because the percentage of footballers making it in academy is very low.
Very
low. But like, it's not like our system sets you up for failure, but it doesn't set you up to succeed if you're not going to be in the football room.
110%.
And I feel like that is what some clubs are trying to change.
I've seen that.
I think I've seen Trent Alexander-Arnold's recently starting an initiative to help players in the academy that don't make it or something along those lines.
Crystal Palace have that one that they've started. But it's too late though, isn't it? Don't you think it's too late?
I think it's a little bit too late. I'm glad it's getting in place.
Yeah.
But it is
because you think about the thousands, millions of players that have missed out on the opportunity to have an education.
Yeah, but they'll also save the millions coming through and the thousands coming through.
I understand that, but then you've got the ones in the past, like
you could just say your age group.
Yeah, in my age group, everyone that stopped playing has to go back to square one.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So if you get released at 21, if you get released at 18,
because some boys might not want to do coaching at all or stay in football.
Yeah.
Like some boys just are good at football but not like
nothing
the
else.
actual game, or say enjoy watching it, for instance, which I completely get. But then if they're not gonna somewhat make it,
what do you fall back on?
Yeah,
Because you haven't learned anything else but football, especially as we've moved schools when we were 14 to be full-time in football, and then we've gone from 16 to 18 full-time in football. In those 4 years we've missed out on an education. And then it's like, okay, cool, you're now going to get released at 18. You have nothing to fall back on. You miss 4 key years of life in terms of education. And then they're telling you, go into the world and do something.
It's true. That's why I see all these stories of like footballers crumbling here in this country after like not getting a pro.
Back in the day, it used to be bad.
Yeah, it used to be bad. So I'm grateful to grow up in America and go through the college thing, because they really pushed education as well.
Right.
I know a lot of good players that weren't able to go to certain schools because their GPA just didn't align with what you need to get in. And even obviously I went through it. My GPA was considered for sure. How good is my GPA, and how am I going to get into school? I didn't have a problem because I had a good GPA. But I knew it was going to get reviewed. I knew, they considered the academic side and all those kinds of things. But they look at that and they definitely value that.